back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday and it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all of the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. First of all, if you have a question that you want answering on this Q&A, all you got to do is leave it in the comments to this video and I will get to it next week. I film the Q&As around about a Wednesday. I'm actually doing this one quite late. It's Thursday morning, but generally it's around a Wednesday, sometimes a Tuesday. So to guarantee that you get your questions answered, make sure that you ask it by sort of Tuesday morning. If you haven't, if I missed the question, I'm very sorry. I will answer it the next week. Just make sure you leave it in the comments of this video. There's a whole bunch of questions this week. In case you've never seen a Q&A before and you don't know, I don't read these ahead of time. I literally just sit down and hit record. If it's something that I think requires a longer answer, I'll do a proper video about it at some point. I think that's kind of the best way of approaching this. But without further ado, let's get straight on with this week's Q&A. So the first question is by Seth Howard, and Seth says, I know you love all magic. But is there a type you prefer to perform? Card, coin, mentalism, app, illusion, or whatever? Or is there one you feel like you excel in? You do a bit of everything and you do it well, so I'm curious. It's a great question. To be honest, I think I'm best at coin magic than anything else. I spent my entire life learning coin magic, and I got into coin magic before I even got into card magic, which is quite rare, right? It's quite rare in magic to get into coin magic before you get into card magic, because normally card magic's like the gateway drug, and what I mean by that is it's a low barrier to entry. It's very easy to learn card magic. It's very easy to have instant gratification. You can learn a self-working trick, and within 2 minutes you can be performing it to people, and you can get that buzz, right? Now, the first tricks I ever got were trick decks, for sure. But the first time I actually studied any proper magic, so to speak, was coin magic. And the reason is I blagged my way into working at a summer camp and I had no skill and no ability whatsoever. And somehow I blagged my way onto a summer camp, and the director of magical studies was Brad Henderson. And I think I've told this story before, so to keep it very brief, I was there at the beginning of summer camp in America, and we were going around and everybody was asking, was showing tricks, and they all had a deck of cards in front of them, and I was like, well, I don't really know any card tricks. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know any card tricks? And they were like, well, show us a trick you do know. And I pulled out dynamic coins, and I did dynamic coins, and at that point they realised they'd made a mistake, and that I didn't really belong there. But they couldn't send me back, so they had to make do with it. So they put me in charge of the coin magic sort of classes, because nobody else wanted to do it. Problem is, I didn't really know how to do coin magic, so I got literally locked in a room with a few coin books and a few coin VHSs. That's how long ago it was. And I spent the entire summer teaching coin magic and literally learning the moves, like literally the day before I was teaching them to the kids. So yeah, and then the first magic book I got, I remember while I was in America, I went to Tannen's after I'd finished at the summer camp, and I was like, hey, I want a magic book. I want a really good magic book. What are you into? I really like coin magic. And they said, well, this is a great book to get. And they gave me, they sold me David Roth's Expert Coin Magic. That was my first book. And I just learned all of the stuff out of David Roth's Expert Coin Magic. I didn't realize that it was difficult. And so I got to a point where I was like really good with coins. I couldn't even hold a deck of cards. I couldn't even tell you what mechanics grip was. So because of that, I feel more comfortable with coins. And you see that hopefully in my performance videos that I post on the 5x5s and stuff. You know, like when you're in a stressful situation and you always fall back on the trick that you kind of know is going to work. Greg Wilson calls it a 1,000-timer. My 1,000 timers or anything like that I would do in that sort of situation is coin magic. I feel most comfortable and most at home and most relaxed when I'm performing coin magic. So yeah, coin magic is the answer for a close-up point of view. I do, however, love performing on stage. Even though I love close-up and I'll never stop, I prefer performing on stage than I do performing close-up magic. And the reason's really simple. If I'm going to a gig and it's 2 hours long, and I'm doing walk-around magic, I could have the best group in the world. Like, I could have insane David Blaine style reactions, right? But I know that after 7 or 8 minutes, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go over to another group and win them over again and start that whole process again. But if I walk on stage, I walk out, I grab that audience's attention. I can then keep their attention for the next 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, and take them on a journey. I don't have to go winning other groups of people over. And the other advantage is I get to perform on stage with my son, Ryland, which I love doing. So I prefer stage to close-up, but if I had to pick one genre that I think I'm best at, it would have to be coin magic. But great question. Thanks a lot for asking me, Seth. Okay, so the next question is by Frank Tugas. Hey Frank, haven't heard from you for a while. Hi Craig, it's been a long time since I asked you a question. Yes, it has. But I've been following you all along. Okay, I'm getting a creepy stalker vibe right now. In any book of card magic, card magic takes the most space, as there's more card tricks than any other kind of magic out there. And there are people that specialise in just doing card tricks. My question is, if you're doing a general close-up magic show, how do you balance cards with other items, coins, rope, things like that, and things like that, where you're going to do a show of general interest in close-up magic, but you don't want it to be all cards? How do you go about weighing it for good variety? Well, really, that's just thinking about transitions. So that's just... you're talking about a magic show here. You've said several times, a magic show. So I'm guessing you're not talking about a set for walk around magic. You're talking about a close-up show, maybe a parlor show or something like that. So let's just assume that you've got to do a half-an-hour show. What I would advise you to do is I would start off by writing down all of the things that you potentially would want to put in that show. And let's be honest, it's got to be stuff that you're really comfortable with. It's got to be stuff that you know will get a really good reaction. If you're going to do a good show, you've got to make sure that the stuff in there is good. So you're going to write down a whole bunch of tricks that you might do. And you might want to categorize them. Coin tricks, card tricks, sponge ball tricks, miscellaneous tricks, mind reading tricks, card tricks, whatever it is, right? So you're going to write all these tricks down, and then you've got to pick out of this list of tricks that you now have in front of you to put this show together. So now you need to think about an opener, right? What's your opener going to be? Well, again, without reiterating the point too much, because I go on this quite a lot, you need to think about your performing character. You need to think about who you are and what you want your audience to get out of the performance that you're giving them. But generally, as a rule, an opening routine should be quick. It should establish credibility. It should show the audience a rough idea of what they're going to see moving forward. I do like to try and avoid card magic when I do an opening trick, because I don't want people to think it's just card magic. I've spoken about this before. If you do a card trick to open up your set, sometimes people in the audience will think, oh, I've seen that one before. So think of an opening routine. Then all you have to do is think about how you're going to transition from one routine into another. How do you transition from this routine to this routine to this routine? So if I was doing a close-up set, I'd probably open with a coin set. I'd probably open with a coin trick, because coins are something that I'm very good at. Coins are something that a lot of magicians don't do. So it will allow me to establish credibility and show them something unique and different. So let's say I open up with my monster coin routine. Well, okay, at the end of that, I've done a jumbo coin production. Where am I going to go from there? Okay, how about going into Keymaster? Why would I go into Keymaster? Because I can talk about the holes, and I can say, well, what you've just seen is you've just seen me move coins from one place to another. Now, some of you in the audience will think that maybe that's sleight of hand and I'm just quick with my hands. And for those people that think that, I'm going to see if I can take this to the next level using a couple of keys. Instead of making objects move around, I'm going to do the magic with literally nothing. The holes in the keys. You see, there's nothing in the holes. Blah, 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 blah. So now I can do Keymaster. And I can do, for example, the original Keymaster routine. Then I can do Gatekeeper, which is like a pseudo explanation of the hole moving down the key. And then I can go into the key and string routine of the Keymaster Penguin project, right? And that now is about probably 10 or 11 minutes in, and I've done no card material. I'm just looking at the stuff that I would feel comfortable putting into a show, and I'm thinking how to transition from one to another. Well, at the end, I've finished with a key with no hole and a string. How do I go on from there? Well, then I might want to say, now, when I do this, and I'm making this off the top of my head, when I do this routine and I have the key come off the string, a lot of the time people think, well, you know what, Craig's cheating. Because it's a small key, right? And it's only a little piece of string. So let's see if we can go one step further, and we'll make it a little bit more visible for every single person watching. Instead of using a string and a piece of string, and a string and a key, let's use a big piece of rope and a ring. can you have a look at that rope? Can you have a look at that ring and make sure it's solid? Now, these are so big that you can see them from a distance, right? So now you're going into ring and rope because that link makes sense, right? So we're now about 15 or probably 18 minutes in at the end of ring and rope. We're probably about 15 to 18 minutes in, and I haven't even done a single card trick, right? So at the end of ring and rope, where do I go from here? Well, I could say, and again, I'm making this up on the spur of the moment, I could say, well, you know what? I put the ring and the rope away. I've done the, Dave Williamson routine or whatever. I put it away and I go, now that's one ring. But what if I added more than one ring? What if I added 4 rings? And then I can go into linking rings. And after linking rings, I can say, you know what? There's too many rings here, right? Let's go back to just one ring. But instead of using just one ring, I'll use one ring and I'll use a finger ring. And now I'm going to go into Ninja Plus by Garrett Thomas, and I'm going to do the linking fingering trick. And then at the end of that, when I've thrown that ring off that ring, I might go, now the problem is, right, I'm using this little finger ring, and maybe you guys think I'm cheating. So can I borrow a ring? Now I'm going into ring into impossible location. Maybe nest of wallets. That's something I do all the time, where a ring disappears from my hand and goes into nest of wallets. Maybe I'm going into copy ring, which is an amazing trick by Mark Leverage. Maybe I'm going into something like that. And now I'm like 22, 23 minutes in, haven't even done a single card trick. So now at the end of that finger ring routine, I could say, you know what? One of the things that's iconic with magicians is one of the things that's iconic when you think about magicians is tricks with a pack of cards. And you know what? I do have to do a card trick right now because it's in my contract. If I don't do a card trick at some point in my act, magic will suddenly become popular and everyone will do it. So let's do a card trick right here and do a deck production as I'm talking. Now I've introduced a deck of cards in a really cool, innovative way, from the audience's point of view at any rate, a fingertip deck production. So now maybe I do card in the box, right? Which is a good 7-minute routine. And at the end, I make the deck disappear and the deck completely vanishes. Well, now I'm half an hour in, boom, job done. There's my half an hour show. And I've done one card trick, right? So really, that's a long-winded way to answer your question, which is think about the transitions. I like to think about a logical flow. I see magicians that go for my first trick, for my next trick, for my next trick, which is all well and good. But if you can actually make it flow and you can think about how you're going to transition from one routine to the other, then it's going to be a much better show than if you're just kind of disjointed. So hopefully that answers your questions. And one more time, Frank, thank you very much for asking a question again. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so the next question is from Magic Trades. And Magic Trades says, hi Craig, just got back into practicing magic and I bought Triad coins in the Vanishing Ink summer sale. It got me thinking, what are the essential coin sets or gaffs that a magician should get for their everyday carry? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Okay, so I think I have a completely different approach to everyday carry than a lot of magicians. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong at all with the way that other magicians look at it. Maybe I'm in the wrong, I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm a member of a lot of groups on Facebook that are to do with everyday carry. And I see people posting their pictures of all of their everyday carry. And they take a ton of stuff out. Like they take like a ton of stuff, right? So they take out like trick decks of cards and packet tricks and rope and rings and coin sets and stuff. And from my point of view, everyday carry is what I carry around with me every day. Hence the term everyday carry. It's the stuff that I actually take out with me. And so when I'm not booked to perform, I have this stuff with me. So if somebody says, hey, you're a magician, show me a trick, I can go, oh, okay, yeah. That for me is everyday carry, right? So examples of stuff that I consider everyday carry. And I've done videos on this. I've done 2 videos now on the ultimate everyday carry stuff. It's stuff that will either fit in my pocket organically, fit in my wallet organically, be on my phone organically, or be on my keyring organically. So Keymaster is an everyday carry. Because it is, it's a thing that you can carry around on your keys and you're ready to do it anytime, anywhere. So the Keymaster is definitely an everyday carry. My Pro Mystic Rubik's Cube is an everyday carry because it just hangs on my keychain. And I actually have, he doesn't sell these anymore, but the receiver is actually a key fob. It looks like a garage remote control. So that's an everyday carry. I've got, Gossip is always in my wallet. That's an everyday carry. Playlist is an everyday carry. I'm talking about stuff I've released now. I've got a couple of different everyday carry. My next release from Penguin, spoiler, is an everyday carry thing that I have with me all of the time. So for me, it's stuff that organically will fit on your keychain or fit in your wallet or something like that, right? Everyday carry for me is not, okay, which deck of cards am I going to take? Because I wouldn't carry a deck of cards around with me. I like stuff that looks like it's organically something that I would carry around with me anyway, if that kind of makes sense. So with that in mind, I wouldn't carry, if I was going to do a coin trick, I would do my pure coins across from the Netrix. So I've got a routine on the Netrix called Pure Coins Across. And basically it's a coin routine where you borrow 4 coins. You just borrow 4 quarters or 4 10 pences, whatever country you're in, and you just do this routine. And it's my go-to coin routine. If you catch me out and about, not at a convention, because it's a different thing at Magic Convention, I'm probably going to be carrying a bag full of magic because I'm going to be jamming with my magic buddies, right? But generally as a rule, if you catch me out and about, and you say, hey, can I see a coin trick? I'm going to go, yeah, can I borrow 4 coins? And I'm going to Pure Coins Across. It's probably the coin routine I've done more than any other coin routine because it's the one that I always do when I get asked, hey, would you like to see a trick? So it's called Pure Coins Across. It's on the Netrix. I wouldn't carry a coin set around with me as part of my everyday carry. I have so many coin sets that are in my close-up bag that I will take with me to a gig, or if I'm going around a friend's house for a party or something and I know that they're going to ask me to do magic, I might throw something into my pocket then. But generally as a rule, no, I'm not going to carry any sort of set. But if you're going to ask me what sort of gaffs I think are essential, if I was going to say what one coin set would I recommend over and above anything else, I'm going to be biased, man. I'm going to say my Mirage coin set, because the gaffs in the Mirage coin set allow you to do a lot of classic magic, but it also allows you to do a lot of routines that are exclusive to the Mirage coin set. So I would say the Mirage coin set, if you were going to take, because it's got a double-sided coin, it's got a flipper, very unique, but it's got a flipper. It's got a shell, it's got a whole bunch of other things. And remember, I talked about this at the beginning of the Q&A, it allows you to transition from one routine to the other. So with just one purse in your pocket, you can bring out some coins and you can go in so many different directions. And it's, so I would say the Mirage coin set. I'm biased, but that's just my opinion. You know, I wouldn't have released the trick if I didn't think it was good. So yeah, the answer is the Mirage coin set. But I mean, you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Am I totally out of base here about everyday carry? Like, maybe it's because I'm a pro. I don't know, but everyday carry, I carry a ton of stuff. I carry probably a 45-minute act, but it all looks like it's meant to be there. It's not like I'm ever going to carry a little purse around with me and pull it out. You know, somebody says, show me a trick. Yeah, I've got this purse in my pocket. Hang on a minute, why have you got a purse in your pocket? I've got no problem justifying that when I'm at a gig. Absolutely not. But if I'm just walking around and I'm at the shops and someone says, show me a trick, and I pull out a piece of rope, that's kind of a bit weird. So yeah, that's my thought process on that. So hopefully that answers the question. Okay, so the next question is Zed with 2 Ds, Zed Magic. Hey Craig, hey Zed, I put a question in way too late last time, so I'll ask it again, no problem. I was wondering if you could review a new effect on Alakazam. It's called Murder at the World Court. What are your thoughts on not only the trick, but someone of such a young age having a release already? Okay, so I haven't seen it. I have been told about it. Many people have asked me to review it, so I am going to. I have no opinion on it right now because I haven't even watched the trailer. I just know I need to pick it up from Alakazam. But I don't know anything about it right now. I do know that the guy that's done it is like 14, maybe 15 or something like that. So what do I think of someone at a young age having a release already? Well, my attitude is, you know, age is subjective, and you know, I've got a real big bugbear on this, right? Like, Ryland is 9 years old, but he's got more experience of performing than a lot of magicians that are way older than him, because his first show was at the age of 3. He learned, his first corporate show was the age of 4. He's probably done 10 gigs in the last 2 weeks. He's been on national television twice on BGT. So he's got a lot of experience, right? So really age is subjective. And when it comes to creativity, it's even more subjective. If you saw a release from a guy that's 30 years old, you might go, yeah, that's fine. But he might have only been in magic for 6 months. It's really how much experience they have in magic, not their age. In fact, if anything, when you're young, your mind is like a sponge. You can take in so much information. You can learn a lot more. I didn't get into magic till I was 18 years old, and I wish I got into magic when I was Ryland's age. That would have made things so much easier for me. So I don't know how long. It's about how long. If this, I don't want to say kid because that's so derogatory, but if this young man has been in magic for 1 month and has no experience really, and has just had a brain fart and then released the trick, and it's not a very good trick, then I'd be like, okay, that's not good. But I know Alakazam well enough to know that they're not going to put reputation on the line for the sake of one download. They are clever. Harry and Peter Nardi know their stuff. Jenny Nardi, despite not being a magician, knows her stuff. Andy Smith knows his stuff. They know what they're talking about. They know. I've not met many people that are as knowledgeable as Andy and Alakazam. I can show him something and he can literally tell me right there and then the name of the trick, the person who created it, and he'll probably tell me the book it's in and the page number it's on, and he'll tell me the first line of the sentence that opens up the description. He's that good. It's like he's got an encyclopedic brain. And it's amazing because Alakazam do their due diligence and they do their research on tricks that come into the shop. And they wouldn't just put something out that was either substandard or identical to somebody else's thing. They just wouldn't do that. They're very, very ethical. So if they've watched this and said, yeah, this is worthy of a download, then that's good enough for me. Who am I to say this person can't create a magic trick? Ryland, many, many times at the age of 9 has turned around to me and done something that I'm like, man, I wish I'd thought of that. That's such a really good idea. In fact, he's got a trick that he showed me a few weeks ago now that's probably one of the cleverest packet tricks I've ever seen. And he blew me away with it. And I'm like, man, that is so clever. That is so clever. That is, I would be so proud of having that idea. So really, I've got no problem with somebody at that age having a release, as long as it's ethically correct and as long as it's a good trick. And I trust Alakazam enough to know that they would make sure that that's the case. But I don't think that age should be a determining factor as to whether somebody can or can't release a magic trick. Experience, yes. But you can have somebody the age of 14, 15 years old that's more experienced than a 60-year-old, and probably will have a lot more performing experience, because when you're that age, Ryland performs all the time at school. He's constantly performing on before school starts, after school, and his lunch breaks. He's just performing 24/7. It's where he gets all of his performing experience from, right? And it's going to be the same for somebody that's the age of the young man that's released this trick. So I haven't seen the trick. I will review it, but in terms of the age thing, I don't think it's an issue at all. So the next question is from Colin Ryder. Hey, Craig, it's the Riaja Grandad again. Some 9 months ago, you gave me some great advice for the younger grandchildren getting sponge balls and rabbits appear from everywhere. Cool. My question is, after buying Any Queen Called For from International Magic and performing for my friends at Golf Club Captain's Day, I want to do more. Does your Mirage coin set Extreme have any novice routines that I could do? The map test above was great. Regards, Colin. Yeah, man. Yeah, Colin. The Mirage coin set is designed so that regardless of your experience level, you can be able to do that, the routines in there. There's some routines that are almost self-working, especially some of the stuff that Peter put together. So you get a bonus video when you buy Mirage coin set with Peter's stuff as well. And Peter's got some amazing routines on there. Ryland did one on his Instagram recently where he's got 2 cups and, he's moving coins from one cup to the other cup. I think it's called 2 questions or something, or 3 questions. And it's incredible, and it's completely self-working. If you can pick up a coin and move it, you can do the trick. One of the tricks that everyone's talking about, which is the international matrix, is a very easy routine to do. There's one move at one point that you need to do. So the nice thing about the tricks is there's some that are beginner, novice level, there's some that are for intermediate, and there's some that's advanced. And it's almost like a course that you take your way through. So you can start off learning the simple routines and then go into the more advanced routines. So yeah, absolutely, 100%, regardless of your ability level, you could definitely get something out of the Mirage coin set. Okay, so the next question is from Pratek Kole, and Pratek says, "Hey Craig, thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. No problem, I have a few others." Right, let's take them one at a time. Question number 1, your thoughts on Amverdi's colour match, and should a hobbyist magician invest in such high costing props? Well, really it's down to you. Do you have a spare couple of $100 burning a hole in your pocket? Only you can answer the question. If you buy a trick and you use it and you get a lot out of it, then it's worth buying. If you buy a trick and you look at it and then you put it in your bottom drawer, then it's not worth doing. Now, I actually contributed a whole bunch of routines to the Colour Match project, and that should tell you that I 100% believe in Colour Match. I do. I think it's a fantastic prop. I think that the Murphys have done an incredible job of making it as good as it is. And yeah, it's just great. I mean, there's a lot you can do with it. You can just have some pens in your pocket and you can just take them out and you can do these routines anytime, anywhere. You no longer have to take a little pot with you or a little holder with you. You're good to go anytime, anywhere. So absolutely 150%. It's a prop that everybody would be worth owning. Whether you should buy it or not very much depends on you. And there's many different factors to take into consideration. Have you got the spare money around? Could you see yourself doing this? So you're a hobbyist magician, so you don't perform professionally. So where are you going to do it? Are you going to do it when people come around your house? Or are you going to do it when you go to people's houses? If you're going to go to people's houses or out and about to, meet friends socially or whatever it may be, is it a bit weird carrying 5 pens with you, 5 kids' colouring pens? It might not be weird. It depends on your performance, and it depends on how you perform in a social situation. Do you introduce it as a magic trick? Do they know that you do magic, or do you want it to appear more organic? Because if you want it to appear more organic, you're best going off for something that's like, hey, can I borrow that napkin over there? Let me show you this. Whilst if you're going to do something that's if you want to do something, what am I talking about? If you want to, if you want people to know you're a magician and you're going into it, you could just say, hey, I picked these 5 pens up from the shop the other day because I can do something really cool with them. Can I show you something? Do you know what I mean? So, and really it's down to you. Do you have the disposable income? Should a hobbyist invest on high costing props? Absolutely. But only if you think you're going to do it, and only if you think you've got a routine for it. There's lots of routines on the project. I think it's amazing. And I would suggest anybody buy it, but ultimately the decision is down to you. Okay, so the next question from Pratek Kole is, who, according to you, is the best mentalist currently both in teachings and material? I think personally, and there's loads of really good names in here, and I'm going to piss people off by not naming names. And there's some incredible mentalists out there, but the 2 that come instantly to mind when you talk about teachings and material is either Pete Turner or, oh my gosh, why has my mind got blank? Michael Murray, sorry. So Michael Murray or Pete Turner. Both Michael and Pete are incredible when it comes to thinking, when it comes to creativity. They both have, in my opinion, furthered the art of mentalism, and they both are so revered in their various different subjects. They're incredible. I've had a chance to sit down and chat with both of them many, many times, and I've been blown away many, many times by their thinking and their ability. It's just second to none. So I would say, if you ask me the question, who's the best mentalist in the world right now from a teaching and material point of view, Pete Turner and Pete Turner and Michael Murray. You can't go wrong with either of those guys. Don't make me pick between them. I'm not going to pick, but Pete and Michael are probably the 2 that are right up there. Okay, so one final question from Pratek Kohli, which is, any tips to broach the subject of magic and performing magic to strangers in a casual situation? So you're in a casual situation, you're in a social situation, and how do you perform magic to strangers? Again, it kind of depends what the casual situation is. So there's two ways that this could go. The first way is you're going into a bar on your own. You've got nobody that you know. You're literally sitting in the bar on your own, and you want to perform magic to people there that you don't know. The second thing is you're meeting up with friends, maybe at a party, and the friends that you're meeting up with, have asked you to do a magic trick or something, or you people are aware that you're a magician, but you're wanting to do some magic for not people that aren't aware you're a magician that's there, right? So let's take the second thing first. So people are aware that you're a magician. What I would do is one of two things. First of all, I would say to your friends ahead of time that know you're a magician, hey, if you know anyone here, I'm working on some new routines and I want to practice my performance of them. If you know anyone here, can you tell them that I'm a magician and I'm amazing? Because here's the thing: if somebody else introduces you as a magician rather than you, it's a much easier in. So if you're there with a friend and your friend knows somebody who you don't know, and they introduce you and go, oh, this is Craig, just so you know, Craig does amazing magic tricks. They'll probably go, oh, really? Oh, can you do a trick? Yeah, of course I can. So, that makes it a little bit easier to approach that subject. If you're I would suggest doing that. If you're going into a pub or a bar and you're there with a friend and there's nobody else there that knows magic, I would just sit there and show a couple of tricks to your friend at the table that you're sitting at. Every single time I've gone out with somebody like Nemid or Alex or Kieran or one of my friends, and I've sat in a bar and we've started showing each other magic tricks, literally within about 5 minutes, we've had people come up and go, hey, what's the cards for? Are you magicians? Yeah. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Can you show me a trick? It's so easy. When you start doing magic to the friend that you're with, it's so easy for people to come up and ask to see a magic trick. In fact, I went once to for a meal with a friend, a friend in magic, a very good magician actually, and I was kind of it was a bit weird because I went to this restaurant to get food with them, and I was doing a couple of tricks, and we were talking about card tricks, and we were sitting doing card tricks for each other, and these guys came over and were like, "Oh, cards! Do you do magic?" And my friend who was there, who's a really good magician, by the way, just turned around and went, "Nah, we just like playing with cards. We're gamblers." And I was just thinking, what? Huh? Yeah? What? And then they were like, "Oh, right, okay, right." And I was like wanting to say, "Actually, I'm not a magician. You want to see a trick?" And afterwards, I was like, "Oh, what was that all about?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't want to do magic. I don't like doing magic that much." I'm like, hang on a minute, what? You're really good. So that just confused me. But you'll find that if you sit there, and that also carries over to if you're on your own. So if you're in a bar on your own, if you just start shuffling a deck of cards, if you just start doing flourishes or something, people are going to come over in a couple of minutes and they're going to ask to see a trick. I catch the train a lot. And whenever I catch the train, I'll sit there with a pack of cards and a Rubik's Cube and a couple of coins, and I'll just be practicing just random stuff. And I'll always, without fail, somebody will say in the train carriage, "Hey, do you what's all that about? Do you do magic?" "Yeah, I do. Would you like to see a trick?" I can't tell you the amount of gigs that I've got from performing magic to people on the train, and they took a business card, and then I've had a phone call going, "Hey, I met you on a train. I'm getting married," or whatever it may be. So it's very easy to get people interested in watching you do magic. However, if you're wanting to take the more direct approach, just go up and speak to people. Just go up and speak to people. Just walk up to people. That's what you got to do if you want to become a professional magician. You got to learn how to do that approach. You got to walk up to people that you don't know and grab their attention and start performing to them. So do that. Just walk up to people and go, just don't just go up and go, "Pick a card," but break the ice. "Hey, my name's Craig. What's your name?" "Oh, nice to meet you. Have you been here before?" "No, okay. Yeah, I come here quite a lot actually. In fact, I come here and I do magic, and you know, I'm a magician. Would you like to see a trick? Whatever it may be, you know, don't make it like look like you're trying to pick them up or something. But just approach people. Just magic is beautiful because it's a great icebreaker. It's such a great way to start a conversation, and people find it very easy once you've started performing to ask you a million questions about magic and about performance and about you. So just go up and start performing. That's the other piece of advice I give you. Okay, so the next question is from Pax Ghost, and Pax Ghost says, "Hey Craig, greetings from Norway. Hey, greetings from the UK. One question, just got my Orphic wallet and I was wondering if you could recommend some great small tricks I could carry around and fit inside the wallet." Absolutely, my man. So what you got? So, well, actually, I'm going to give you a huge tip here. Huge tip. If you haven't already done so, go and listen to the interview with Simon Lipkin that I did that went up yesterday. So the Talk Magic interview that I did yesterday was with Simon Lipkin. Now, Simon Lipkin is one of the top mentalists in the UK. And he is he's also a professional actor. He's been on some really big films and some really big projects. He is, by any definition, an overachiever. He's incredible. He loves the Orphic wallet, and he shared a routine with the Orphic wallet that blew me away when I first saw it. It's his own unique routine with the Orphic wallet that is incredible, and he goes through how to do the whole routine in his interview. It's buried in about halfway through. The best routine you can do with an Orphic wallet is in that interview, so just go check it out. Trust me, go check it out. Outside of that, stuff that you can put in your wallet, Gossip by me is great. It's designed to fit in a wallet. It'll fit in an Orphic wallet perfectly. Will to Read by Steve Della, and also Louis Lavell's tarot card thing. I can't remember the name of it, but that's really, really good as well. There's some stuff coming out soon. Look out for a trick with a coffee shop loyalty card. That's coming out soon from the 1914. I'm not going to say any more on that. Playlist by myself is a really good thing that you can put in there as well. It'll just fit in one credit card slot. I've got a thing coming out through Penguin soon that's designed to be an everyday carry that'll just take up no space in your wallet and you're ready to go anytime, anywhere. Powerball 60 is great. That fits in the wallet perfectly, and that's really, really good. Yeah, so there's a few to get you started. There's a few. Extreme Burn is a great thing to stick in there. That feels like a natural thing that you can put inside your wallet. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can use. But just look, trust me, go check out the Simon Lipkin interview. That's probably the best use of an Orphic wallet that I've ever seen. Okay, so the next question is from Junior Rodriguez, and Junior says, "Hey Craig, I've seen a few effects advertised on unlocking a spectator's phone. Is there one that you would recommend? I prefer one that doesn't depend on the internet or a Wi-Fi connection. Thanks in advance." So the best one is by, and it's the one I use, and I did a video on it. It's a Penguin Magic exclusive, and it's by Greg Wilson and Michael Murray. I'm searching Penguin as we speak. No, there you go. Right. It's an older trick, but it's still just as good now as it was back then. It's called Code Breaker by Michael Murray and Greg Wilson. Break into a locked phone. Yes, really. The best phone trick we've ever seen by a million miles. It's really good. No apps, no nothing. It's a 3-phase routine. But the main phase is you borrow a spectator's phone and you can unlock their phone. Like, it's that clean. You can unlock their phone. I'm not going to go through method or anything, but that's what it is. It's really, really good. So I'd recommend Code Breaker by Michael Murray and Greg Wilson. Just search Code Breaker on Penguin Magic. That's really good. So I'd recommend that 100%. There's a new, it's not quite what you're looking for, but the French twins have got a new thing out where it's like a ghost touch type thing. So you put your phone on your hand or in their hand, and then what you do is you go to you get them to touch your hand, and then point at the phone, and they see one of the unlock buttons light up as if they've touched it. It's like a ghost touch type thing. And what happens is they magically make the phone unlock just by coming near it. But what's really cool is your unlock code is the serial number, the last 4 digits of a serial number on their bill that they've been holding in their hand the whole time. So that's really cool as well. It's a little bit not what you're asking for because you're wanting to unlock a Spectators phone and not your own phone, but it's still really good. So I'd recommend, but if you're wanting to unlock a Spectators phone, really, in my opinion, the best way to do it is Codebreaker. Codebreaker is really, really good. Okay, so the next question is from Mr. Raffles with a 1. Mr. Raffles, blown away by the David Williamson session I found on Penguin. Have you done a best 3 live sessions vid that we should watch? No, I haven't, but it's something that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it soon. However, let me give you 3 off the top of my head that I would highly recommend. John Archer's Penguin Live is brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Eldo Colombini's Penguin Live is brilliant. And G, his Penguin Live is phenomenal. So G, Eldo and Rachel Colombini, they did it together. G, Eldo and Rachel Colombini, and John Archer. All 3 of those Penguin Lives are awesome. Okay, so the next question is from Benoit P. And Benoit P says, hi Craig, sorry my post is long, forgive me about that. Thanks again for the great content, really enjoy it, and they are serving me well in my business. Don't know if you have already talked about the following. If so, please show me where. My question is on 4 subjects, specifically on the wedding, events and parties industry, but not on what tricks to do, rather how to structure. I am not in this business at the moment, but I've been to several wedding events to see how things were planned. I'm more into corporate magic, so more formal events. So for weddings, 1, when is the best time to do strolling magic? And when is the best timing for a parlor show? I don't do big stage illusions, but I do parlor stand-up shows. Okay, let's take these questions one at a time. And a lot of the answers to these questions, by the way, are going to be on the Netrix. We have on the silver level tons of content on business, and a lot of the stuff that you're probably going to be asking is going to be on there, but I'll try and break it down as succinctly as possible. So when's the best time to do magic at a wedding? Really, it very much depends, and there's no right or wrong, to be perfectly honest. In fact, the big thing that's going on at the moment, in the UK at any rate, is having a magical wedding MC, which is where you have a magician come in literally the entire wedding who does magic throughout the day, but also acts as an MC and introducing people at various different points and being sort of a master of ceremonies. I don't do that. That's not something that I do or have done or will do. However, for me, at a wedding, if it's a traditional wedding, and by a traditional wedding, I mean they have a ceremony, then there's a break for people to have photos, which normally takes a couple of hours. Then there's a wedding breakfast. After wedding breakfast, the speeches, then the room gets turned round, and then after that, there is a evening wedding reception. So in that period of time, there's 3 times really when close-up magic will work really well. The first is during the photos. That's a great time to have magic because everybody is they've just sat through the ceremony. You've got 2 groups of families that don't know each other very well, so magic becomes a great icebreaker and a great conversation starter. And only immediate family are involved in the photos, so it means that everyone else is standing around. So it's a good time to keep people entertained during that period of time until they go into the wedding breakfast. The second period of time is during the wedding breakfast. During the wedding breakfast, it works really well because you've got tables of people who, again, probably don't know each other very well. So doing table magic and going from table to table is great because it brings the atmosphere in the room up and everyone's clapping and cheering. And you can do a special trick for the head table for the bride and groom. So that works really well. A lot of people that do kids magic as well as close-up magic will then offer a wedding breakfast package and then take the kids to one side during the speeches so they don't interrupt the speeches. The third place is during the lull after the wedding breakfast and before the evening reception. During that hour and a half period of time where the room's getting turned around, that's a good time to have a magician because everyone's kind of wandering around with nothing to do, so it keeps the energy up. Also, the evening guests are arriving towards the end of that time, so the magician can do magic to the guests as they arrive, and it's nice meet and greet magic and give people the wow factor when they first walk in the door. You can also have magic going on in the evening reception. I tend to try and push people away from the evening reception purely because there's so much other stuff going on. There's normally a photo booth, a band, a DJ, and you don't really need a magician at that point. So I tend to push people away from there. But those are the close-up, those are the 4 places that people would tend to have magic, right? In terms of stage magic or parlor magic, again, there's a couple of options. I offer a stage show at the beginning of the evening reception. So after all the evening guests have arrived, I offer a sort of 30 to 40 minute grand illusion show. And I sell it as being a great way to kind of really kick off the evening reception and get everybody kind of on a high. That's absolutely fine. You might struggle with a parlor show setup at a big wedding to grab everyone's attention. The other place that you could do it is during the lull. So you could maybe have close-up magic during the wedding breakfast, then they break for the speeches, and then everybody goes into a separate room to watch your parlor show before the evening guests arrive. And it's a great kind of exclusive thing to offer the daytime guests before the evening guests arrive. So if you're going to offer a parlor show, I'd suggest during that switch around period, during that lull period of the wedding. Okay, so this is Benoit P's second question about weddings. For strolling magic, what type of tricks work the best, meaning more visual, faster paced? Does card tricks work okay? Do mentalism tricks work okay? In corporate shows it flows, but I'm wondering in weddings. And for parlor, what type of tricks are best? Is it better to be geared more towards comedy magic, visual magic? Is mentalism okay? I doubt it, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so really you're talking about trick selection here. And again, it just depends on your performing character, who you are, the type of tricks that you like performing, the type of person that you are. Weddings are no different to anything else. They're people. There's no difference really between a wedding and a private party or between a wedding and a corporate event when it comes to the trick selection. You do the stuff that you do the best. Now, I can tell you what I do, or you could go and look at last week's 5x5. I put on there a full breakdown of me performing 3 or 4 tricks to a group of people at a wedding. So you can see exactly what I did and what I said and you can see everything. Look at the 5x5 the week before. I did exactly the same thing the week before. You can see what I do at weddings. Typically, I tend to do stuff that's faster paced, that's visual, because that's my style. I like visual magic. I like stuff that's faster paced. I am a comedy magician. I perform and try to make it entertaining, and I try to make people laugh. So that's my style. If I was a mental, Steve Della, for example, who is one of the top mentalists in the country, in my opinion, when he goes and does a wedding, he's probably more mentalism centric because that's his style. So really, it's not about what works at a wedding and what doesn't work at a wedding. It's what works for you, what tricks you would prefer to do, right? And it's the same with the parlor show. You do the best show that you can do. I know what I would do when I go and do a parlor show. You can go check it out. I broke down my whole parlor show on this channel about a year ago. And I literally broke it down step by step and then talked about every trick that I did. That parlor show would be the same if it was booked at a wedding or if it was booked at a corporate or if it was booked at a private party, because the show doesn't change. Yeah, time to time you need to adapt the tricks that you do, but generally as a rule, when you're performing at a wedding, I'll be honest, and I mean this with all due respect, and please don't think that I'm being derogatory in any way, because that's not the case. But I think you're overthinking things a little bit, and you're trying to worry about things that you don't need to worry about. You don't need to think about, oh my God, what am I going to do at a wedding? Oh my God, I've got a wedding. What tricks should I do? You do the same thing that you would do when you go and do a corporate event. Your goal at the end of the day is exactly the same: to entertain guests and make sure they have a fantastic experience. It's not like a trick that you do at a corporate that blows everyone away will suddenly bomb at a wedding. That tends not to be the case. So just stick to what you're good at and you won't have a problem. Okay, so the third question by Benoit P. about weddings. During those events, most guests will be drinking quite a lot. Not milk, definitely not milk. So this one concern I have on how to handle the event with the magic, I would do specifically during the Parlor show, which I think maybe later in the evening. Handle this during the event with the magic. Okay. Yeah, people are drinking at a wedding, and yeah, you do get a few drunk people, absolutely. I mean, that doesn't really change how I approach the magic, to be perfectly honest. Not everyone's going to be drinking. You know, weddings aren't one giant piss up. Well, some of them are, but generally, as a rule, weddings aren't one giant piss up. So when you go to a wedding and you're performing, if somebody's drunk and you don't know how to handle that situation and they're giving you a bit of jip, just finish the performance early and go to another group, or learn how to deal with a heckler. You know, I love performing for drunk people, because once you understand that they're drunk, you can blow their tiny little minds. You can absolutely blow their minds. And it's same for a parlor show or a stage show. When you understand you've got people in the audience that have been drinking, absolutely not a problem, because it allows you a bit. You want to be aware of that, but it's very obvious when people have been drinking, right? But you tend to find that there's going to be a lot of people at a wedding that haven't been drinking. And you can just, especially with mix and mingle magic, you can perform to those people instead, right? So honestly, again, without being derogatory in any way, shape or form, I think you're overthinking this a little bit. Oh, what do I do if I go to a wedding and people are drinking? Well, you do the same thing that you would do at a corporate. Don't tell me, you know, you've talked about doing corporates. Don't tell me there's not drunk people at corporate events. How do you deal with them? Because however you deal with them at a corporate event, that's exactly the same way that you deal with them at a wedding. Okay, so one final question from Benoit P. Is there any books, DVDs, downloads, or courses that talk specifically on wedding events businesses? By the way, I have your Quantum Tech Keymaster, Visible, Forecast, Shop, Mirage, etc., even Slim. Well, thank you very much. Are there any downloads or courses? Yeah, I mean, obviously, Paul Martin. Go check out Paul Martin's interview on this channel. Paul Martin has a big online resource for people who want to become wedding MCs. That's the thing I talked about earlier on. Sam Fitton, who I also interviewed on this channel, and you can go check out his interview, has a lot of information on being a wedding magician. Both Sam Fitton and Paul Martin you can speak to, and they will be able to help you with anything. Outside of that, Wayne Goodman has an incredible book on the business of wedding magic and how to get wedding gigs and how to become more successful in the wedding industry. That is something that you should check out as well. And as I said before, if you go on the Netrix, there's a ton of information that's about business. It's about how to get more gigs at the silver level. That's where that is. Now, yes, there's nothing on there specifically about weddings, but there will be over the coming weeks and months. But right now, there's a ton of information about getting more gigs. So, yeah, I mean, that hopefully tells you everything that you need to know about the weddings events industry. Okay, so the next question is from David Fishbeck. And David says, hi, Craig. Hi, David. Question on the Netrix. I'm in the States and I'm worried about what the price is in dollars, as well as any charges the credit card might add because it's out of the country. Same applies to the Crystal Cube I saw that you use, and as far as I can tell, it's only available from PropDog, and I figure the shipping taxes were very high. Any information? Thanks. So I can't tell you about PropDog. I do believe they do free worldwide shipping, but I might be wrong. I know Alakazam do free worldwide shipping. I'm not too sure about PropDog. So the Clear Cube, it's a question you should really ask PropDog. I don't know their business or their shipping policies or anything like that. Regarding the Netrix, it's in pounds because obviously we're based in the UK, but more than 50% of our users are outside of the UK. There's no extra charges at all. There's no charges because you're out the country. Basically what happens is you just put in your card details, it sets you up, and then every month it automatically renews for another month. And if you want to stop, you just go into your account and you hit cancel. Not that many people do because the amount of content in there. And in terms of, I deliberated about whether to put it in dollars or pounds. I ended up putting it in pounds because I am in the UK. But you know, the dollar rate, you just, you know, it's what it is. You just look at, you know, $14.99. I don't know what it is at the moment. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly. Let me do a conversion rate. There we go. Exceed.com is probably the best bet. This is where I get, there you go. Okay. So, from pounds into dollars. There we go. So currently it's $17.04 a month at bronze level. So there you go. $17.04 a month at bronze level. And that's what will come out, and you'll see it on your card statement because everything's handled through Stripe. So yeah, there's no hidden charges or anything like that. So don't worry about any hidden charges. That won't happen. But if you've got any questions about anything like that, email my team. The email address is admin@thenetrix.com, admin@Netrix, Netrix.com, and they will be able to guide you through anything. We are in the process of setting up PayPal. So, I mean, you could even do it through PayPal if you wanted to, which hopefully should be sorted by the end of July. Okay, so the next question is from Simon Francis, and Simon says, "Hey Craig, love the channel. Thank you very much, Simon, appreciate it. My question is about the podcast. How did you and Lloyd Barnes start doing the podcast? And would you ever consider putting the podcast on video? It sounds like you two have an absolute blast together." Good question. The podcast is completely separate to Lloyd's brand and my brand. You know, my brand online is kind of like Magic TV. It's all the stuff that you're seeing and watching right now. Lloyd's brand is Lloyd Barnes, and it's him and the Fooler and all of the stuff that's going on his YouTube channel, which is exceptional. And we've got two separate brands, but then occasionally we come together. I'm really good friends with Lloyd. I consider him one of my best friends in the whole world. I love him to bits, and you know, we both like talking about Magic, and we have conversations every week where we'll just ring each other up and talk about Magic. And I said to him one day, you know, we should just film these. We should just film these conversations and stick them up online, and that's what we ended up doing. And I can't believe how popular the podcast has become. I cannot believe the amount of listeners the podcast gets. It's incredible, really. Considering it's two blokes that don't prepare anything, aren't organised in any way, shape or form, have really no idea what they're doing. It's really great that so many people want to listen to that podcast. And, you know, we joked, oh yeah, no one's going to listen to this. The viewing figures or the listening figures are just ridiculous, through the roof. Never expected it to be that. And we just love doing it. But we'd never put it on YouTube because it's not a Craig Petty thing. It's not a Lloyd Barnes thing. It's a Magic podcast thing. It's the Magic podcast. It's totally separate to that, right? So it's the Magic podcast. So I love doing it. We'd never put it up on video. We like to make it exclusive. We like to make it something that only goes out on podcasting platforms and Spotify and stuff like that. And also, you know, Lloyd's sitting there half naked half the time anyway, and always distracted and either doing something or watching the snooker and half listening. So it wouldn't be a good thing to put on YouTube, to be honest. But if you haven't checked it out, if you haven't listened to the Magic podcast, please do so. It's something that both me and Lloyd are very proud of and will continue to do. Okay, so the final question today is from CFM Productions. Hi, Carl here. Hi, Carl. What's the full audition process for BGT? Because I'm aware that there are unaired rounds with producers and basic talent scouts. Where, when, how long did they take? Months, not exact dates. Realistically, if you want to apply for BGT, the best thing to do, because everyone's process is different and everyone has a different experience when they go on BGT, the best thing to do is to go onto the website and apply. Just go on the website and click, I want to be on BGT. Just apply for it. That's the best thing to do. And send them their video. And depending on what the video is, they're going to go in one of several different directions. They might get you in to do meeting the producers or do an audition in front of the producers before you get on live TV. They might put you straight onto live TV. They might have you go and speak to somebody different. I don't know. It's not my business model. It's yours. I know what Ryland's journey was. But Ryland's journey is very different to other people that I've spoken to that have been on BGT. Everybody's journey through BGT is different. So my advice would be just apply. When's the best time to do BGT? If you think you're good enough, when's the best time to do it? 6 months ago. When's the next best time? Right now. If you don't ask the questions, just do it. If you think that you could do it, if you think you can boss it, go and do it. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, all you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. If you haven't already done so, please join the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. The link is in the description. If you want to support the channel, that's the way to do it. I'm very proud of the Netrix. We spend literally all day, every day, improving it and making it better, and it's something that I'm so passionate about. Outside of that, don't forget this evening I'm going to be back here with a review show special at 9 o'clock, and tonight I'm going to be looking at Imagine, which is the new trick from Harry and Peter Nardi and Alakazam Magic, and there's an interview with Harry and Pete on there as well, so go check that out. And I will be back again tomorrow at 9 o'clock with a 5x5 and a whole bunch of other videos during the day as well. I'll see you again. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.